All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Yo, we are back. I'm super excited. I mean, usually I started out with what's going on, but I mean, I'm just pumped. I'm pumped today. I mean, it's going to be super exciting to get back to it. Skytown Season 2, stand up. I mean, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be back. I mean, we really didn't know how Season 1 was going to go and how everybody was going to feel about the WNBA as a whole. Covering them, was something I was super, super excited about, and the response was amazing. I do want to say Season 2 is only possible by everybody who tuned in throughout Season 1 of Skytown. I appreciate everybody, all the way from Carly to Jay Ness to the Chicago Sky organization, the WNBA as a whole, giving me the honor to actually cover them in person, interview them in person throughout the 2022 season, and being a big part of, obviously the playoffs, even past, the Sky season. We covered the WNBA finals. If you didn't check that out, I had so much fun doing that as well. I'm so happy to be back on the air talking about the Chicago Sky. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got my jersey on right now. I got my CP jersey on. I can't be more excited to be back. So I appreciate you guys for always rocking with us. We're going to finish off 2022 strong. We're finally back. Free agency is right around the corner, but one of the first conversations I want to talk about first very quickly, we talked about it all year long. Free BG until it's backwards. It's finally backwards. I don't care how anybody feels about it from a political standpoint. Obviously there was a specific trade that was involved between two individuals that were imprisoned by both America and Russia. And, there's a lot of people that feel a lot of ways about how that went down. But at the end of the day, BG is home. She is back with her family for the holidays. She is back long term, hopefully for the rest of our lives. And I'm just super happy to have her back. Can't wait to re-engage with her and really just see her. I haven't seen her since 2021. Obviously, she got taken from us way before the season even started, over 290 days in a Russian prison. So shout out to BG. But there's a lot more work to be done to get the rest of the people in Russia who are imprisoned, who are Americans, back home as well. So, our thoughts and prayers continue to go out with them. And we're just happy BG is home. But with that being said, getting right into it, super excited. I mean, I'm pumped. Let me grab my charger really quick because we got a longer episode today talking about WNBA free agency. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be one of those seasons that if I'm Coach James Wade, I do not want to be in charge of making decisions. Obviously, that's something that he is not afraid of. He is something that I don't think that man's afraid of anything in this world. Maybe Messi, because I did see him watching the World Cup. Obviously, he's rooting for France. If you haven't checked that out, I mean, were you sleeping under a rock? Because it was an amazing final. But in all seriousness, he has a lot of decisions to be made. There is a lot of serious conversations about which individuals of the Chicago Sky are going to be coming back, which could potentially retire. We have no idea. Right now, all we know is Candace Parker will be returning to the Chicago Sky for her 16th WNBA season. Super excited to have her back. We do have an interview from her, Allie Quigley, Courtney Vandersloot, and the entire cast of the Chicago Sky, except Ruthie Hebert, Coach Wade, and Dana Evans. We did not speak with them, but we spoke with everybody else. But we got one final goodbye. That was a little bit back in, I believe that was back in February. No, not February. September. Back when we said our goodbyes, we had our goodbye videos, and I wanted to save that until now. We kind of rehashed that, kind of see where everybody's mindset may be now. But let's talk about it. I mean, free agency moving forward. I mean, it's going to be insane. Appreciate you, Megan. Always tuning in. Megan Price does amazing work with the WNBA as well. Definitely check out her page right there. You could see on Facebook. Amazing WNBA and just content in general for sports. But getting into it, I mean, let's talk about it. WNBA free agency is potentially going to be one of the biggest years, with Breanna Stewart being one of them to enter the portal. I mean, I'm super excited about it, but nonetheless, the free agents for the Chicago Sky, we're going to start off with unrestricted free agents and then go to restricted free agents. Courtney Vandersloot, obviously 33 years old. Sloot, I mean, Hall of Famer in my opinion. Candace Parker being number 2, 36 years old. She will be returning as well for her 14th season. It's going to be exciting. Her 15th season, pardon me. Emma Messeeman is going to be a free agent as well, unrestricted. 29 years old, obviously 7 years in the league, going on 8. Azura Stevens, 26 years old. That's the one that hurts because I love Z so much. I'm so excited to see Z continue to keep doing what she's doing, but I hope it's in a Sky uniform. Allie Quigley, 36 years old, year 13, going in the year 14. I mean, this is just one of those seasons, you really don't know what you're going to get from her. It was a very, very rocky season for Allie Quigley throughout the year, very inconsistent, not like her throughout her career. And obviously, she did say that winning a championship is kind of one of those things where, she could end her career right now and say that she's completely happy with the way things went for her WNBA career. To restricted free agents, we have Rebekah Gardner, who obviously just made her mark. Good friend of the show. We always keep in contact with her. I'm really excited to talk about what she's been doing overseas this year because she has been killing it. Just got an MVP award. You love to see it. You love to see it. Rebekah Gardner, 32 years old, restricted free agent. And then Nellie Marley is also going to be one of those individuals that, you really didn't have her too long on the team, but she does count technically. So 24 years old, unrestricted free agent, 0 time. So, I mean, it's definitely something right now, that's the majority of the roster. You look at Kahleah Copper, you look at Dana Evans, Ruthie Hebert, and that's Julie Allemand and Allemand, pardon me. And that's really it. That's really it. We have everybody else is on the chopping block, potentially could go wherever they want to go. It concerns me. It concerns me. And it's one of those conversations that I'm not really ready to have is that, we probably are going to lose a couple individuals. And whether that's for financial reasons or that's just retirement reasons, we have no idea what the state of the Vanderquigs are. Obviously, Allie Quigley, in my personal opinion, I look at, the Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley situation. A lot of people believe if one retires, the other's going to retire. Allie's family's from Illinois. And obviously, if Courtney Vandersloot decides to remain with the Chicago Sky, which I don't see why she would go anywhere else, I do see the possibility of, Allie just remains in Chicago or she goes to Illinois, wherever she is, wherever she's from. And I believe she's from Aurora, but don't quote me on that. But it's a conversation where she's not far from home. It's not like Courtney's going to be in Seattle or Courtney's going to be in, New York or something along those lines. She's going to still be in Allie's hometown. So I definitely could see the possibility of maybe Allie retires and Sloot stays or vice versa. Who knows? But we do have some interviews from them and I'm really excited about it. Someone said, is that a Bulls jersey? No, sir. This is a Candace Parker Chicago Sky jersey. We are live right now on ASAP Radio, ASAP Network, All Sports, All Plays. You can definitely check them out. They do amazing things. And we're just talking about Skytown. It's our show brought to you by the Chicago Sky. We do this year round. Season 2 just debuted tonight. So if you're new to the show, we appreciate you always being in here. Megan Price said Coach Wade is definitely going to have to work his magic without a shadow of a doubt. Megan said Seattle has a roster spot open though with a thinking emoji. That's definitely true. Sue Bird just retires. That obviously throws in Megan. Forget that. Let's not even talk about the replacement of Sue Bird. Let's talk about the state of Breanna Stewart. Tina Charles isn't getting any younger. Now Sue Bird is gone. You look at that for what it is, and you understand Breanna Stewart's probably on her way out. Now, personally, myself, to be completely unbiased, I've said it since last year. The second Sue Bird retires, I believe Breanna Stewart's going home to New York. She's going to team up with Lady Mamba, as my guy Rob Scott of Rob's 2 Cents would call her, and my good friend Sabrina Ionescu. I mean, it's a great duo. It's a great duo. And Megan said it as well. I think it's Tina's last year. And we've thought it's Tina's last year, respectfully, for a couple years now. So I do believe Tina Charles still one hell of a defensive player. But at the end of the day, Breanna Stewart might be in her best interest to go team up with Sabrina Ionescu. That'll be the best 1-2 punch in all of basketball. I mean, that's really what it is. So I'm super excited about it, man. I'm super excited about it. My guy Angelo's in here. He said Mike is the go-to for the Sky Talk. Great stuff, my guy. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. We try. But in all seriousness, man, Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu, I know Sabrina's pissed. And that whole team is pissed because they're so young, they're so fiery, and they're so close to being a potential great team. They bring in, championship caliber players. You look at Stephanie Dolson and company, they're great. Right, you is amazing as well. I mean, she's obviously, she's got a lot of stuff going on in China. She is hooping for real out there. But I mean, she is one hell of a talent. She is one hell of a talent. My guy, Randy Jowers. If you ain't following Randy Jowers on TikTok, definitely add him. And if you aren't following me on TikTok, hit it. You can hit the shy.kid right now. The shy.kid. We post all our post game interviews there. But in all seriousness, back to it. There's a lot of conversations that Coach James Wade needs to have. And I wish I would have had that conversation with him. I was busy. I was talking to Candace, actually, and we will have that interview coming up right now, right after this. But, I mean, there's so many different ways Coach James Wade can go with this franchise moving forward. And I'm really excited to see what that entails. Because, again, we have these conversations. We could sit here and say, listen, we're going to go after Breanna Stewart. Forget everybody else. It's going to be Ka. Let's bring back Rebekah Gardner. Let's bring back Azura Stevens, and let's bring in Breanna Stewart. We got a new big three, a younger big three. Love to see it. Or you could bring back everybody you can. Messeeman, Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley, Candace Parker and company, and you could try to run it back one more time. But there's just so many different directions. What is the length of contracts? Financially, there's a lot of questions, and everybody's going to be wanting to make a lot of money. And, let's be frank here. Let's be real about the situation. And I was just talking to Z about this, before we exited the 2022 season. I understand she was coming off the bench, but Azura Stevens is a dog. Azura Stevens could be one of the best scorers in the league if she was on a starting team. And that's really like my unbiased opinion. I have watched Z perform so well, and she is one of the most charismatic, most dedicated, most hardworking players I've ever met in the league. And without a shadow of a doubt, I think Z can get that bag. And that's really, you have to understand financially what some teams are going to be willing to pay her. So that's really the question. That's really the question of what she wants to do. And I did speak with her about that. We didn't have that on camera, but it's definitely something, we need to look at and say, listen, we don't know where her future is with this team. Not that, it's in question, but it's definitely something where, you have to reflect on the season and you need to do what's best for you. And I wouldn't blame her if she took the money. It is what it is. Megan said the draft is coming, though. It's coming up, though. It's going to be super exciting. Hopefully, Megan Price and I will be able to hit the draft ourselves, working that stuff out right now with the WNBA. Hopefully, we'll be able to cover that live. I'm hoping Megan can pop out. I think she should. That's where it's at. Yeah, no, 100%. But before we get into anything else, these are our final interviews of the 2022 season with the team. I do want to get through these. So we might be throwing them, every single one right now. We're just going to pump them all out. We do have conversations throughout this kind of about, the future of the team, what's going to happen, how they felt about the 2022 season, and what they see moving forward with the team. So there's a lot of different questions, but I promise you'll hear my questions and you'll hear and understand what their answers are throughout all of it. I do apologize if some of them are choppy. I tried to get it off of obviously throughout the sky, but the way they sent it to me, some of them look great and some of them look like they were taken off a phone. So I do apologize if not all of those look great. If you're watching this right now on the TikTok, obviously you'll just get the audio, but if you hit that follow button, I will be posting them all tonight as well. So you can definitely check that out. But with that being said, we're going to get right to it. This is my interview with Candace Parker just a couple weeks ago.
We'll start with my cues.
Hey, Candace, appreciate your time and everything you've done for me and the ASAP network throughout the season and just the league as a whole. For you, and especially being in Chicago, I've witnessed, a lot of individuals not getting the opportunity to have somebody to look up to and someone to admire. And for you to be able to do that for your hometown on such a huge level, not only in the WNBA, but for the Chicago Sky, can you kind of put into terms what that's meant for you?
It means a great deal. I mean, just to see the way the city has really done a good job of just embracing the Chicago Sky and, in our success, especially last year. And then, in the regular season this year, the games that, you come to and Wintrust is, filled, hosting the cup, then turning around and hosting, then getting All-Star. I think it just means a lot to me because I know, growing up, basketball is so important to me in the Chicagoland area. And so to be able to kind of be a part of that and see the growth and, see people like myself coming to games and being WNBA fans means a lot.
And Hey, Emma, thanks for your time. I wanted to ask you, kind of piggyback off Carly Bell's question. When you play with so many individuals on this team that are regarded as some of the best at their position, like Candace, like Allie, like Ka, and obviously Sloot, when you look at that, outside of just leadership, going into this season, you were such a huge addition from a leadership standpoint and your game. But what is something that you look at far more than just leadership that you kind of took away from everybody's game?
That's a good question. I would say, like, once we got to really, get that chemistry, it's all about chemistry, really. Finding each other, getting moving the ball, beautiful basketball, like we've been calling it. That's what makes the game so beautiful and so enjoyable for me, like reading the game, like I said. The beautiful basketball with this team was pretty good. I'm just sad we can't show more of it in the next few days because it's there. What I did take away was competitiveness, greatness. We had the short players taking rebounds. We had the big players giving assists. We were, very versatile as a team. So you don't have to be restricted to your own position, the stereotypes, but everybody bringing different stuff, learning different stuff, builds a championship team. So you just have to be consistent, and we were not yesterday, unfortunately.
Thanks, Emma.
Welcome.
All right, thank you, Emma.
One of the biggest things, throughout the conversations with Candace and throughout the conversations with Emma, you really sit there and you think back and you're like, damn, because this season was so magical, man. This season was one of my favorite seasons I think I've ever watched and witnessed. And obviously we see the 2021 championship, but the Chicago Sky of 2022 will always hold, a team or a special place in my heart, because you look at it. I mean, the records they broke with Candace's triple doubles, the 26-10 win-loss record. I mean, they were just phenomenal. They were phenomenal. I mean, they lost one game in a row. They never lost back-to-back games until the playoffs. And that to me was just everything. I mean, they had a phenomenal ride. Appreciate you always being here, Braves fan. But I mean, it's something for me. You look at it and you go, man, like, what would have happened if they would have beat Connecticut? What would have happened? And obviously, Kurt Miller is now taking a new opportunity somewhere else. I know Megan Price feels some type of way about that. She definitely had a lot to say, which was super interesting. I definitely want to have Megan on the show soon and kind of talk about that. And Megan did say right here, I like how Emma took the time in thought through her answer. Cookie cutter answers happen, especially after a tough loss, but good answer. Yeah, Emma's one of those individuals. I talked to her all year long, and this was my first year really actually having conversation with her. Obviously, it's her first year on the team, but I do hope she comes back, because she is the sweetest and the most kindest person you'll meet. I mean, she's what you see is what you get, and Emma is so great at what she does. She really perfects her craft. If you watch her in pre-games, it's insane the amount of work she's putting in. I mean, she is running full-blown sprints, trying to be the best version of herself. But I do have two more interviews right here, and they're kind of very similar to each other, just like the first two were. This is with Kahleah Copper, Finals MVP. We always love talking to Kai, and we also talked to Azura Stevens, kind of about that conversation of, listen, you guys are super young, you guys are still going to be here for a long time, but if the big three isn't, obviously Emma Messeeman, Courtney Vandersloot, Candace Parker, and the big four really with Allie Quigley as well. If the veterans aren't there, how are they going to still continue to work on their game, and how are they still going to be able to take what they learned and continue that, have them spiritually there more so than physically. But let me pull those up for you guys really quickly. I believe I got to find the right one. This one is with Kahleah Copper. Then we're going to be going to Azura Stevens. Hey, Ka, appreciate your time. To not get too forward into next season and free agency, but having this understanding that, the roster may look a lot different next year. What's a part of what you've learned from Sloot and Allie and Candace that, whether they're here or not, that you're always going to have a part of your game?
I think they're great leaders. And they all led in different ways, different manners. But I like the competitors that they were. I like the leaders that they were. The very different leaders, like I said, and I just think they were great people. I think outside of everything, we had good people here on our team, and that's what made us so special.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate your time.
Last one will go to Mike Hughes. Last one.
Hey, Z, appreciate your time. I just spoke with Ka about what playing with Allie and Courtney and Candace have meant for her, and how she's going to be able to take that into the future of her career. And for you to kind of, piggyback off that and take that into consideration when you look at, the future, whether it's with Chicago or not, how are you going to be able to keep them on the court with you spiritually rather than physically?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a loaded question because there's so many things that you learn from playing with veterans like them. A lot of it is just observing, I did a lot of observing from a lot of them, but, with all three of them, I feel like I built a relationship with them and was able to pick their brains here and there, and just get insight from them on a lot of different things because, they have a lot of experience and they're great players as well as having all that experience. And so there's just so many things, but just the way they approach the game and each of them in their own way, the ways they were able to dominate and still, play good basketball at this level is just something that, I want for myself as I continue on in my career. And it's something I'll take with me for sure.
And that's something, you look at Ka and you look at Z and, winning a championship so young, you're under 25, 26 years old. They're amazing at what they do, man. And to sit there, I call it, and obviously their games are not similar whatsoever. But it's kind of like a Jordan Poole effect to me. You have players like Steph Curry, you have players like Klay Thompson and company who are all on this team. And you just get to soak that in and you get to soak around playing with Hall of Famers. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about it is, you really get the best version of yourself every single day because there's people holding you accountable and you get to see their work ethic and the way that they move. It's a lot of fun, like watching them really go at it like that. So to see Ka kind of potentially get the reins and say, hey, this is your team. Like we courted you. And then that turned into an extension. And, you are a franchise player. You are the future. And as Courtney Vandersloot and company have called her before, she is the engine. She is the motor that makes everything continue to go. Ka floats, man. Ka floats in the air. I mean, she is so athletic. She is so present. She understands the game so well. I mean, that's a woman from Philly right there. Philly basketball is like that. I mean, they are, some of the hardest working individuals you'll ever meet next to Chicagoans, of course. But in all seriousness, you look at it for what it is and you understand how good this team could potentially be in the future, even with the rest of the core gone. Ka is still here. And that to me, we're always going to be in it if Ka's here. And that's truly how I feel. And Z is the same way. Z puts in so much work to not only her physical, but her mental. I mean, Z tries to perfect herself. So she is not listening to anything else anybody is saying. And even if she does hear it, it does not phase her whatsoever. So I love seeing Z just be the best version of herself. I would love both of them to be able to play here for years to come. Obviously, Ka is locked up on a contract. I'm excited to have her here. It's my next jersey. Definitely my next jersey. It's either her or Rebekah. I haven't decided yet. But you look at it for what it is and you understand Kahleah Copper is here to stay. And I pray to God, in all seriousness, that Azura Stevens is going to be a part of that, because I feel like Azura Stevens with starting minutes consistently is going to be one hell of a problem for this league. And I think we have not even scratched the surface of what she was able to do in UConn. So I'm super excited to see what she's been able to do overseas. We're going to be talking about the overseas stats in the next episode 2. Then we obviously we'll be having Megan Price on here to be talking about all these college stars that are going to be coming through the draft. The Chicago Sky have a top 5 pick. How the fuck that happened? Shout out to the Phoenix Mercury. We have that from the Diamond to Shields acquisition. So that's super dope. I'm super excited to see that. But it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun to really kick off this season. We have a couple more interviews in here. This one, if I'm not mistaken, it's hard for me to see like who is who because it's such a small bubble. But I'm going to try to get these in here. I believe this one is with Courtney Vandersloot, just talking to Sloot about, the 2022 season as a whole and what that meant for her. Hey, Sloot, appreciate your time. When you look back on not only your career, and obviously this isn't goodbyes, but this is just looking back right now. Looking back on your career with Fowles and obviously Elena and going on to Candace and company, what can you really put into words on what the 2022 season sat at and where you would say all time playing for the Sky that would really place?
Well, in terms of our roster, the group that we had, this was a special group and one of the best that I think to ever play for the Sky. I mean, obviously, us winning the most games in history doesn't even tell the whole story. I think what we had put together is special, and obviously we came up a little bit short. But this is a really special year for us to all commit and come back after, we kind of made a historical run last year, and to kind of just try and run it back and do it together. This one has a special place in my heart.
Thanks, Sloot.
Annie?
It's something, when you look at Sloot and her history with this team, I mean, it's like tear jerking to watch her, get older, and then, obviously know that at some point, her and Allie are going to retire. And it's one of those things where I grew up watching them, with Cynthia Fowles and obviously Elena Deladon and so many others. I mean, Court and Allie have been there 110% of the way. So I'm hoping they come back. That's really the conversation right now. It's like, I hope they come back. I think I would understand Courtney coming back more than Allie. Allie is a little bit older. Allie has been in the league longer. She didn't go overseas this year. Wanted to spend more time in the States. I don't know. Like, there's so many questions. But we will figure all that out very soon. I'm excited about that, though. I'm excited about that. This next interview was the first person I've ever interviewed in the WNBA in person. I'm super excited about it. Rebekah Gardner. We were both rookies together. It was my rookie year, kind of just working with the media department, being a part of the media reporters in the WNBA was so like there's so much anxiety that goes into it, but it just felt so much more natural sitting down talking to her. Obviously it's her first year in the WNBA, but she has been killing it overseas and in her time at UCLA. Rebekah Gardner, always my favorite to talk to. This is our interview with her, kind of talking about the state of the 2022 season and what that meant for her.
Track. So yeah, that's what I feel about it.
Thanks, Rebekah, and good luck overseas. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll go Mike and then Annie.
Hey, Rebekah, thanks for your time. On your first day being a part of the Sky, you and I talked about how you were just trying to take advantage of every opportunity given to you. And obviously that's something you've been preaching throughout the entire season, just trying to make your mark in the W the same way you have overseas. Now that you're going into year 2, potentially, of playing in the WNBA, what are you looking at as far as, I know it's obviously way too early to be even thinking about it, but as far as a role and being solidified in this league, what are you really looking forward to going into year 2 from your game and your perspective of that?
Yeah, I feel like this year, I was kind of, it's my first year, so I wasn't probably as comfortable as I would normally be, or maybe some of the other players, but I'm just looking forward to being more of myself. I had a great season, but I just know like what I'm capable of, and I'm definitely looking forward to, going back to Girona and getting back to like my normal self, and then bringing that here next year. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that.
Thanks, Rebekah. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Rebekah is one of those, people I feel like no matter where she goes, I will always be rooting for Rebekah. I mean, I keep saying this about everybody on the team, but like one of the most genuine people I've met. And that's what I loved about this team. And Ka kind of said that as well. You look at them and you're like, man, we just had a good group. It was a good group of people. There wasn't anybody on the team who thought they were bigger than themselves or bigger than the team. And everybody was just, putting their best foot forward. But it's definitely something for me. You look at it for what it is and you're like, can you financially put this team back together again? And before we get into all of that, we do have 2 more interviews. One was with Allie Quigley. There was a little bit of a miscommunication on my end, the way I worded the question. But basically, it's just a conversation of everything that happened with BG. You know, you're seeing a lot of players decide to stay over here instead of going overseas over the summer. So we kind of broke that down with Allie, and then our question with Julie Allemand, kind of talking about what overseas is going to look like for her and what the 2023 season entails and what the future of that should be for her. So I'm hoping I grab these right ones the right way.
Mike Hughes.
You're welcome.
Hey, Julie, thanks for your time. First, I want to say it was an honor being able to speak with you this year. But for you, going into, overseas, or like you said, playing with your national team, when you look at this team moving forward, playing overseas this summer, what are you expecting to change about your game from something that you may have learned throughout the season, playing with so many different players and so many different play styles?
Like I said, the first thing is the leadership. And then I think that when we play here in the W, we play so fast, like it's so different than in Europe. So I think that I'm gonna try to bring that intensity, to bring that kind of game, because I like it. I like to play fast. I like to just feel the game, and I think something that I wasn't doing a lot over here because I didn't really want to make any mistake. As a point guard, when you go on the court, you don't want to make any mistakes. So I was not that aggressive. And I think that's something I like to do. Like most of the time, I like to be aggressive and go to the basket. And I think that's something I missed this summer. So that's something I want to doing again and be able to do it next season in the W.
Hey, Allie, appreciate your time. Obviously, you spoke about not wanting to play overseas this year and not trying to say that this is your reasoning, but throughout this year, I've been speaking with a lot of individuals, especially American-born players, whether it's the males or the females. It's a big part of it is players not really wanting to go over there this year. How much of it do you think is a part of BG and her situation?
I don't know. I think definitely not wanting to go to Russia is a huge part. Well, people don't want to go over there, but I don't know exactly. I'm not sure how much. I can't really speak for why people don't want to go over this year, but for me, it's just, like I said, the 14 years already over there. I think obviously the opportunities here in the States are growing a little bit more with the opportunities that the teams are providing, to make some kind of money staying. So I think maybe that's why. On top of that, the market overseas is, kind of getting a little bit smaller too. So it could be a combination of a lot, but I don't know exactly why people aren't going over it.
I think the way I was trying to word that was, especially in, specific countries, a lot of people don't want to play overseas anymore for those specific reasons because of the BG situation. I mean, BG spent how many years overseas in Russia, and then ends up getting treated the way she did over some political standpoint of it. But, with that being said, you really look at it for what it is. There's so many different ways the Chicago Sky can go. There's so many different ways during free agency that this can go. And I just appreciate everybody being here. I just appreciate building the connections that I built, and meeting the people I met throughout all of this. I mean, it's been a pleasure. It's been a hell of a ride. So I do want to say that before free agency actually kicks off. Thank you to everybody apart from the Chicago Sky organization, from the players to the staff to the security, to everybody who kind of just opened their heart to me. I can't wait to start season 2. I'm super excited to continue talking with you guys every single day, just breaking down what we think is going to happen with the Chicago Sky. Again, conversations like Breanna Stewart potentially joining the Chicago Sky with James Wade, Kahleah Copper and company. There's so many other possibilities. As of right now, obviously, I think it's safe to say Rebekah Gardner will be returning with the Chicago Sky. You look at Kahleah Copper, you look at Dana Evans, Ruthie Hebert, Coach James Wade. I like the formula we have, a top 5 pick. There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm super excited about it. I am pumped. I can't wait to start off season 2. I do appreciate everybody who tuned in today. If you haven't already, go to YouTube, hit Mike on the Mic podcast, Skytown, and you can go on our playlist and find every single episode of the 2022 season. We broke down every single game with post-game interviews from Candace, Allie, Court, Azura, and everybody else on the team. It was so much fun. It was so much fun with the 2022 season. Can't wait for 2023. It's going to be a blast. I appreciate everybody tuning in today. go Sky, baby. There's nothing else to say. We're back. Can't wait. Our next episode, we will be going live until the season starts. We will be going live every single Saturday night. Super excited about that. Can't wait to get back to it. With that being said, this is Mike Hughes from Mike on the Mic and Skytown and everything Chicago Sky related podcast. I appreciate you guys for all being here. This is the All Sports, All Plays Network. Peace. Go Sky, baby.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.